Even though it's mini, it'll still make you scream. Here's your look at the Weta Workshop Mini Epics Alien Xenomorph. Weta Workshop is proud to announce Mini Epic's cool and quirky vinyl figures from the world of film, television, gaming, and beyond. 40 years ago, director Ridley Scott's masterpiece of science fiction Alien burst onto the big screen, spawning one of the most iconic film franchises of all time. To celebrate the anniversary of Alien, we're thrilled to unleash the Xenomorph in our Mini Epics mix. Before we get a closer look at the Mini Epics Xenomorph, how about the first thing we do is I'm going to grab this ruler here. I'm going to put it right to the top of his domed helmet. And we're going to discuss politics. No, we're not going to discuss politics. We're actually going to figure out how tall the figure stands. The Xenomorph seems to stand at 6¼ inches in height, or about 16 centimeters tall. Then to see how the Xenomorph stacks up with the other Mini Epics alien figures we've had a look at, sliding in from the side here. Here it is next to Ripley and Jonesy. Not a bad release, about the same size of figure roughly, and we can also slide in from the other side. There it is next to the facehugger. It's not really the facehugger, it's Kane with the facehugger on its dome, but still, whatever you want to call it. They're all about scaled the same in size. If anything, I probably would have said the Xenomorph should have been just a tad bit taller, but I guess if you consider for the fact that the Xenomorph does have bent legs, that may actually increase the height of it if it was actually standing straight. Speaking of standing, the Xenomorph does come included with a display stand. As we've gotten with other cases before, it's a rectangular display stand made of clear acrylic plastic. You can see maybe that there's a smaller peg on the one side and a slightly larger peg on the opposite adjacent side. So there really is a specific way that you have to attach the Xenomorph. Simply look onto the underside of his feet to gauge which side of hole that you need. This is a slightly smaller hole, so it's going to go on this side. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. I find it helps to actually tip the statue's display stand upside down, so you can kind of level off and figure out exactly where the feet are supposed to plug into place. The display stand, notably, does give it a little bit extra height. But you probably already saw at the beginning of this review, the Xenomorph really doesn't technically need a display stand. None of really any of the Mini Epics figures. There may have been one exception to that rule. Can't remember which one it was. But in most of the cases, you really don't actually need a display stand with any of these figures, really. They stand perfectly fine on their own. Getting now a closer look at the Mini Epics Xenomorph, we're going to go ahead and pick him up here. There's actually a couple of releases already from Weta Workshop of various different Xenomorph characters. This one's basically the bare bones big chap, you could say. Overall, it's not bad. There are things about it I'm not so crazy about. The biggest one is the color scheme that they've decided to go with. While I'm accepting of the blue, it's a nice dark blue that they've used, and they've also brushed in some darker black to really accent the features on the Xenomorph. I am super not crazy about the dome here. I just so happen to have a hair on the top of it. The dome is supposed to be more of a kind of a frosted coloring. Instead, they decided to go straight clear. The clear normally wouldn't be an issue, but the fact that the skull is so yellow inside, I find the colors don't work together. The blue is okay, and the black wash, again, works well to bring the details out, but I'm really not feeling the coloring that they went with for the dome. If anything, they should have stuck with the same coloring for the skull and gone in there and darkened the color of the dome. I don't think it should be this clear, especially, again, for a big chap. Features are also in the big chap. As you can see, there's the smaller inner jaw, which for some reason they've decided to color a different color. It's kind of like an off peach color. I guess it's that so that you can actually make it out on the inside, but it actually kind of looks like a little human mouth on the inside of the jaw of the Xenomorph. You may also notice there's quite considerable levels of slime. The slime is dripping and running down from the top of its teeth and as well down below in the bottom jaw too. These in both the cases are made of a softer plastic. I'm really worried about clipping these accidentally for the risk that they could probably break off. Considering that they are clear plastic and all, I'm sure that's something that will happen, especially this one right here, so be careful of this one. The pose is pretty good for a Xenomorph. I like the way that they've got the legs crouched like this. It has the one arm sticking straight forward, almost as if it's pointing at somebody. The back arm, on the other hand, is behind the torso, which sort of has just a weird pose for the hand, but again, I kind of like the way that it looks. It looks like this Xenomorph is battling some serious arthritis, especially in the hands here. But again, it's a nice pose for the figure. Knees are bent, very large feet widespread, allowing the figure to get a nice stable stance. On the back of it, you can see there's a nice long tail. Not super long, really. I mean, it only goes to about the point of the mid-thigh. I wish it was a little bit longer, but overall, it's not, again, a bad-looking alien. It doesn't have any real posability to speak of. None of these mini epics that we've looked at have any posability. So the real draw of these is the fact that they have the super stylized displaying of the way that they're posed. In a lot of cases, they have oversized heads, and they sort of look like caricatures. If that's the reasoning why they decided to go with the clear dome, I still feel like that's the thing that is really disrupting the look of the Xenomorph. If not for that, it actually does look pretty good. I'm sure at some point they're probably going to be releasing this guy down the road with a variation to his color scheme. We are also getting, I think, already 2 other Xenomorphs. One is a warrior, and I think the other one may have also been coming from Resurrection. It might have even been the newborn. I like this one. Colors other than just the dome here, if I was to cover that off, all the rest of it looks nice and complete and clean. But there's, again, something that they didn't do right here with using the clear dome, especially for Xenomorph Big Chap. They should have really darkened the dome, not to the point where it completely masks the skull that's inside, but at least make it a lot darker, because now the coloring of that yellow is the only thing I'm really looking at on this figure. Other than that, though, it's a really nice looking figure. It took me a little longer as well to find this one. I ended up finding it over on Entertainment Earth's website for actually a pretty good price, too. I'll provide the link down below in the video description. One last time, reaching off to the far side of the camera here. I'm going to bring in the other characters once again we already had a look at. There is once the face hugger, complete with display stand, and there is also Ripley. Of the 3, actually, I still think the face hugger is the best. The Xenomorph has a good design element to it, but again, not liking the clear dome. Really bad choice, I feel, on Weta Workshop's part. Whether you decide to display the mini epic Xenomorph with or without his clear acrylic display stand, the resulting is going to be the exact same. You're going to have a figure that stands perfectly fine. Mentioned in a previous review, I'm sure, of the mini epics, I don't understand why the company would have included clear stands in the first place, when in most of the cases, 9 times out of 10, all the figures have stood fine without the display stand. If anything, they could have included maybe the name of the character or the name of the franchise in which the character is pulled from, something to validate the reasonings why you would want to use the display stand with the figure. In this case, it's not so bad with the Xenomorph because it's taking up as much of the footprint as the actual figure, but in some of the cases in the previous instances, we've gotten smaller mini epics that don't completely fit the full size of their display stand. So if anything, that display stand is taking up even more real estate space than the actual figure that was sitting on top of it. As it comes to certainly the designing of the Xenomorph, I like the stylized caricature look of the Xenomorph. The pose is nice with that sort of arthritic look in his hands. The only thing I'm not crazy about, again, is the color scheme that they decided to go with. The thing I find the most jarring, again, is that clear dome. The yellowing doesn't work. It stands out like a sore thumb. So I sort of thought to myself in between takes, what could have improved this? I think it's probably the coloring of the blue. The jarring nature of the blue mixed now with the yellow and the clear dome, I know fine works well together, that if they had at least changed the coloring of the body maybe to something closer like a black or a gray, maybe that would help to complement the colors of the clear dome and the yellow skull. Still, though, I would have frosted the dome myself, masking some of the skull, yes, but it would have at least made a more well-conceived idea of what a Xenomorph would look like. Again, because the only thing I'm really looking at now is his clear dome. It's like I can't turn away. Every time I look away, I look back. All I can see is that clear dome and the yellow skull on the inside. Overall, a nice looking figure, just I don't think handled as well as maybe some of the other mini epics we've looked at before. Agree with me or disagree with me? Weigh in your thoughts down below in the comments section what you guys think of the mini epics Alien Xenomorph, which did take me a little longer to try to track down. I found ones online around places like eBay and stuff, but the prices were crazy for this figure. I ended up finding it over on Entertainment Earth's website for a price I couldn't pass on. If you guys are interested and would like to add this one to your Alien collection, you can click the link down below to Entertainment Earth's website, where you can pick up this one, as well as a bunch of other mini epics that they have over there as well. If you guys are also new to this channel and you're enjoying the content you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And as well, make sure that for 2022, you're getting those friendly reminders from YouTube whenever new videos are popping up from this channel. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are, in fact, getting those friendly reminders. And periodically, it may help to also come back to this channel and check out the home page. It's your best way of knowing if there's any videos that you may have missed. Because of the frequency of the amount of videos that I'm always uploading, there's always a really good chance that you guys may have missed something. Always check out the home page periodically to see if there's anything that you may have missed. Lots of stuff coming your way, guys, for 2022, so make sure, yes, you're keeping your peepers peeled to this channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.